You're watching Marketing Matters with Colin Carrasquillo, exclusively on CBT News.
Hey there, Colin Carrasquillo here, host of Marketing Matters, powered by CBT News, and Digital Marketing Director of the Nielsen Automotive Group, providing you the true boots-on-the-ground perspective when it comes to marketing and things that we as marketers and dealers are navigating on a daily basis. So I apologize ahead of time. I'm going to give you a horrible Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. Maybe it's going to be really good, but today's episode focuses on first-party data. So here we go. Who's your data and what does he do? That's right, for all you out there who are Jingle All the Way fans, that was a reference to that. I apologize once again. Hopefully it made some of y'all smile. Fact of the matter is we're going to talk about first-party data. Now, when you say first-party data to a dealer or marketer, both are going to give you some pretty different answers on what that is. Ultimately, a dealer might say, first-party data, well, that's data from the people that got there first, right? A marketer might say, yes, it's the data that we own in our CRM. We own it. It's our first-party data. Ding, ding, ding. You would be correct, marketer. And dealers, there are some of you out there, not just some, a lot of you out there that understand the importance of first-party data. So let's talk about it. Why do we need to focus on first-party data moving forward in a hyper-competitive environment, sales environment, marketing environment? Well, first-party data is essentially what is powering any of your marketing and advertising moving forward. Now, why do I say that? Well, when you leverage your CRM data, you can essentially take all of that, and we'll talk about steps to cleaning your data, dissecting your data, then activating your data. But you take all of that, and now you're taking your first-party data and you're uploading it to your favorite advertising outlets like Google, like Meta with Facebook and Instagram, and other outlets, YouTube, right? An Alphabet product, so under the Alphabet umbrella, you have Google, you have YouTube, you have all these other Gmail, right? These are all Google products. Ultimately, these are areas that customers are searching or on, looking for your dealership to do business with, and you need to be in front of them. So you need to activate your first-party data, uploading to those different channels to ensure that you are in front of that consumer. Ensuring also that due to new privacy rules, you are able to create new consumers. You're not using that data to create more shoppers, right? It's not incremental dollars in the market is going to physically mean a new person appears out of nowhere to buy your product. No, it's giving you more ammunition to get in front of people who might not normally know about your dealership and the offerings that it has. That's how these networks operate. Now, no network is overtly coming out and saying that. I have a silly analogy. Maybe it's something along the lines of Alice in Wonderland, right? And the Mad Hatter, and he was late to a very important date, and it was at this garden party, right? Ultimately, the way that I view these networks, the Googles of the world, Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth, the list goes on. These networks have become walled gardens. They're siloed. They no longer communicate with each other. A few years ago, you used to be able to just retarget people and remarket people on all these different platforms, and it was like out of sight, out of mind. Now you need to actually give TLC to each respective network to ensure that not only the consumer who you're already doing business with is getting marketed to, people that have already converted on your website, but also getting in front of new people showing intent for your products and services. So the walled gardens, that's what I call them. It's silly, I know, but guess what? Our job as dealers and as marketers is to be the most popular person and get invited to every single garden party. And how do you do that? You do it with clean data. So let's talk about your first-party data and how you actually can activate your first-party data. So first things first, number one, if you're not aware of all of the data in your CRM, you need to be aware of it, right? You have tons of customer records in your CRM and DMS. These are people that have serviced with you, maybe perhaps have not bought from you, people that have bought from you that maybe didn't service from you, people that have done all of the above, and shoppers who haven't converted yet. It's all in your CRM. That's very, very powerful data and information that you can use moving forward. But as they say, garbage in garbage out. I will guarantee you, because we've been through this process, then if you do an analysis, and there are outside companies you can hire for this, if you have a process in place at your dealership to do this, then phenomenal. But I would definitely recommend hiring an outside company. Do an analysis of all the customer profiles you have in your record. And some of our dealerships, 80,000 people, right? Hundreds upon thousands in some instances. Have a company look at that. Have them report back to you. How many of those are complete customer profiles? And what I mean by that is the customer profile has the full name of the individual that either serviced or bought from you, right? Has their home address, it's accurate, current. Has their phone number, in service still. Has an email address, so I could send them email marketing and service reminders and sales reminders and so on and so forth. How many of those profiles do you think actually have that? I'm going to tell you, the number's very small. Now, actual instances, for us, some of our stores succeed more than others with this, right? It's about gathering the customer information. We have some stores that are as high as having 60, 65, 70% complete customer profiles. That, in this world, would kind of be a home run. Can you get higher? Can you get better? Absolutely. You can always get higher and better. The fact of the matter is, have a company come in, do the analysis, see where you're currently at. Now, why do I say that? Because without complete customer profiles, your marketing is really falling on deaf ears. Now, how could that be, Colin? That's what you might be saying out there. Well, let me tell you. If I'm going to send out an email blast and the consumer doesn't have an email in their profile, well, they're not going to receive my blast. It's not going to get to them. There's going to be no messaging that goes through to the consumer. So let's say you take the 80,000 people and only 10,000 of them have emails. And then you start dissecting the data for the actual messaging you want to send out, and that 10,000 goes down to 1,000. And then you say, oh, well, now these people are going to be in a position for X, Y, and Z. Maybe it's lease maturity, and we'll get into some campaign examples moving on. But then it goes down to 100 people. Sure, you can send out an email to 100 people. It might be the best email that they've ever received. It's not going to have people stampeding towards your dealership. It's 100 people that may or may not see the email due to the fact that you don't have complete customer profiles in the rest of your database. That's just one small example that we have going here, but ultimately it's to ensure that you have clean data. So there are companies out there, like I said, that can do an analysis of your database. They'll give you an initial number of what the complete customer profiles looks like. And then they'll also give you services to append emails, right? Find new information and start filling in the missing pieces of the puzzle. They'll also go back and do vehicle verification. They'll ensure that the customer John Smith that you have in your database still owns his 2012 Chevrolet Cruze. Ultimately, if he doesn't, they'll be able to update the vehicle information so you have the most complete picture of John Smith in his day in life now. That's the important thing. Not John Smith 5 years ago, not John Smith in the future, John Smith now. John Smith that you want to get in front of, have him consider to come do business at your dealership once again. So look for those services. I can absolutely recommend those. Should you like, I can please reach out and I'll recommend those services for you. Ultimately, you need clean data. That's how you start. Now, once the data is clean, you can start understanding and dissecting the data. I had touched on some campaigns that you can run. So let me give you some examples. Let's take all 80,000 customers in one of our database, and now let's say, okay, I want to go after just active shoppers from the past 3 months who submitted lead information, have been back on my website in the past month, yet have not converted, right? So have not bought from us. So I'm able to take out of all of our database information that chunk of people. Now with that, I can say, all right, I'm going to send those individuals an email blast. I'm going to send them a text blast with an attractive offer. I can also upload those people to my Google campaigns and serve them ads on YouTube and connected television. You've just dissected down this massive, massive number to a smaller number of people that you're going after, right, or want to consider your business for their ultimate conversion, buying a car or servicing their vehicle. And from there, you're doing a couple things. You're mitigating waste, First and foremost, if I was to upload all 80,000 people to a campaign list in Google, it would be a mess, because Google would be so confused as to who it's really supposed to be going after, because you have such different customer life cycles and missing information that it's going to spend money for you, your money, ineffectively. However, when you do it in these concise, digestible chunks, you're going to increase efficiency, you're going to increase your return on your advertising spend, and ultimately increase your overall incremental opportunities for growth in both sales and service. So start dissecting the data. Talk about the campaigns that you want to do with your management team. These obviously change all the time. New incentives come from an OEM. New inventory arrives. You have a glut of specific inventory. You guys know the drill. It's about being able to pivot at a moment's notice to better spend your advertising dollars. Mitigate waste. Mitigate bad information in your CRM, and you will mitigate waste in your advertising campaigns moving forward. Now, ultimately, after you've dissected everything, you can finally activate, right? We've been talking about the types of campaigns that you can run, but that's how you do it. Then you activate those lists on those specific outlets, because those lists are going to be what helps you gain new customers through intent that they've shown the consumer, the shopper, on these networks, and they might not have known about your dealership beforehand. So the better the first-party data you have, the better you dissect and say, this is this goal with this campaign. This is the outlet that I'm going to use. This is how much money I'm going to spend. And this is what I expect as my return on that spend. You will have more success on those platforms, especially the ones that you invest so heavily on. So let's review. Have to have clean first-party data. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say, right? Clean the data before you do anything else. I would implore you, make sure your first-party data is clean. Make sure your customer profiles are complete. Full name, address, phone number, email, and it's all correct. Make sure you have complete customer information. Then, based upon your dealership's goals, and all of our goals are different, right? It's not just sell more cars. That's a very basic answer. You have specific goals at your dealership. Based upon those goals, dissect the data. Say, how is X block of people going to help me execute towards my end goal here? And then what solutions am I going to use, and how does that data impact those solutions? And then lastly, when you are finally saying, okay, I'm ready to do this, I've dissected the data on these platforms, activate it. Upload that data, watch it fly, right? And from there, you're going to increase your overall opportunities for sales and service at your dealership. Thank you very much for joining me on another episode of Marketing Matters. I'm your host, Colin Carrasquillo. I hope that was very helpful for you understanding your first-party data and how to activate it. I'll leave you with this. As Arnold once said, who's your data and what does he do?
Thanks for watching Marketing Matters with Colin Carrasquillo, exclusively on CBT News.